What does it mean when your ex blocks you after a breakup? Is it a sign that you should just give up and move on? Well, not necessarily, as I'll explain shortly. In fact, not only will I tell you the most likely reason that your ex has blocked you and what it says about how your ex is feeling right now, I'll also explain what you need to do in order to get unblocked and win them back before it's too late. So let's get into it. All right, now quickly before we get into the important stuff, I should just clarify that for the purposes of this video, I'm talking about any methods of communication where your ex may have blocked you. So whether they blocked your phone number, blocked you only on social media, or blocked you from every possible channel of communication. My advice is generally going to be the same regardless of where they've blocked you. However, I will say that if your ex has blocked you everywhere, and especially if they also told you to leave them alone, then things are looking a lot more dire for your chances of getting them back. Now, on the other hand, if they've only blocked you on Instagram and Facebook, for example, but you can still reach out to them via text or phone or some other method, then you've got more reason to be optimistic. But with that out of the way, let's move on. So for some of you watching, you may already know exactly why you've been blocked by your ex. In which case, you can skip ahead using the chapter links below to later in the video where I explain what steps you should actually take to turn things around for you with your ex. If you're not exactly sure why your ex blocked you, well, here are some of the most common reasons that I see by my coaching clients and why they get blocked by their ex. So we'll start with reason number one, which is they're upset about something you did or said. Now, obviously, I don't think this one should come as a shock, but I'll spell it out for you anyway. If you did or said something that made your ex very angry or upset, then that's probably why they blocked you. For example, I often work with clients who cheated on their ex. And in that kind of situation, it shouldn't be surprising that they've decided to block you. And same goes if you lied to them, said horrible or mean things to them, and so on. Now, this may or may not be something that you can overcome, but I'll talk about what you should do in this kind of situation in just a minute. But before we get into that, let's talk about the second common reason why your ex may have blocked you, which is they're trying to move on and keep you off their mind. So breakups are, often just as difficult for the person who initiates them as they are for the person who was dumped. So in other words, your ex is likely going through the same heartache and emotions that you are, even if the breakup was 100% their choice. And of course, as I'm sure you're well aware, being reminded of your ex, every time you log onto social media can bring back all those emotions to the surface. So many people will block their ex on social media after breaking up just in order to avoid the constant reminders and avoid becoming emotional when they see something that their ex has posted on social media. Or they may fear that, seeing your posts on social media or seeing your calls and texts pop up on their phone will tempt them to cave in and take you back. If your breakup wasn't ugly and full of screaming and yelling, in other words, if you didn't do something, hurtful or upsetting to your ex, then this is almost certainly the reason why they've decided to block you. It's definitely the most common reason people block their ex after a breakup. And as I'll explain in a minute, this is actually a good sign if you're hoping to get back together. All right, and the third reason why your ex may have blocked you, you spammed them or pressured them too much. Now again, this is pretty self-explanatory. If your ex told you that they wanted space and you continued to contact them anyway, well, chances are they feel overwhelmed by the pressure you're putting on them, and they've decided to block you because you simply wouldn't take no for an answer. As I've said many, many times in my past videos, spamming your ex or not respecting their boundaries is a very bad idea if you want them back. Actually, it's a bad idea in pretty much any breakup scenario, and it is another common reason why your ex might block you. So if this is the case for you, you're already going to know it, and you should recognize that you need to stop this kind of behavior moving forward. And number 4, your ex is seeking revenge, or they want to get, a rise out of you. Now, this is a less common one, but it does happen. So sometimes an ex will be just looking to get back at you, especially if you were the one who initiated the breakup. And they might think that, blocking you on social media will anger you or upset you. And, this is obviously an immature way to handle the breakup, and it doesn't really speak very highly of your ex's character, but I've certainly seen it happen from time to time. And number 5, it's possible that your ex is hiding something from you. Now, this is maybe the least common reason why your ex might have blocked you, but it certainly is possible, and it's probably the one that you're most worried about. Yes, it's true that there is a chance that your ex may block you simply to hide what they're up to. Maybe they're already dating somebody new and they want to avoid hurting you by hiding their new relationship. Or maybe they're just hanging out with people they know you don't like, or, just out partying and getting wild. But whatever it is, there's always the remote possibility that you've been blocked because your ex is hiding something. All right, now that we've covered the most common reasons why your ex has blocked you, let's talk a little bit about what you can actually do about it. And we'll start with the bad news. And the bad news is that regardless of why your ex has blocked you on social media, there's really nothing you can do to change that fact in the short term. Do not overreact and lash out at your ex, or even reach out and politely ask them to unblock you. That isn't going to work. And it's also not the kind of message that you really want to be sending if you're trying to get your ex back and start over. Their decision to block you is something that, unfortunately, you can't change with words. Pleading, begging, lashing out, or getting angry at your ex is pretty much guaranteed to backfire and just make matters worse. The best thing that you can do in this kind of situation is just play it cool. Respect your ex's desire for privacy and don't message them or call them out on the fact that they've blocked you. I promise you that, if you try to do or say something to convince them to unblock you, or even if you ask them why they've blocked you, it's not going to help your cause. Now, that's the bad news. You have to accept that you can't change your ex's decision to block you for now. But there is some good news too. And the good news is that most of the time, your ex is going to unblock you at some point in the future. It could be soon, tomorrow. It could be a few months down the road. But in the vast majority of cases, in my experience, unless you really did something terrible to your ex that, has made them truly determined to never speak to you ever again, they're going to eventually unblock you and reopen the lines of communication. Again, this isn't something that you can make happen yourself, but given time, your ex is very likely going to unblock you at some point in the future. It's honestly quite rare that I encounter a coaching client who's been blocked that is still blocked when we stop working together. So at least that's some good news. And there's also more good news if your ex has blocked you simply because they're struggling with the breakup themselves and don't want to be reminded of you or tempted to contact you. Now, if this is the case, and like I said earlier, it is the single most common reason that an ex will block you after breaking up, then it's actually a very good sign for your chances of getting back together. Why? Well, because it means that they've still got strong feelings for you. Anyone who is so emotionally distraught over a breakup that they feel the need to block their ex is clearly struggling with breaking up and probably missing you as well. Now, to find out whether you still have a chance of getting back together, the best thing you can do right now is just take my free quiz. Go to breakupbrad.com/quiz. Answer a few questions just to see how likely it is that you will be able to get back together based on your specific situation. The quiz will also give you some specific recommendations on what you should do next based on your situation and your answers. And again, you can take that for free at breakupbrad.com/quiz. Now, I'm guessing a lot of you watching are sitting there, thinking, okay, Brad, I'm supposed to play it cool and just be patient while I wait for my ex to unblock me. But is there any other way that I can contact my ex before then? And the answer is yes. There are some possible things that you can do. But before I get into that, I do want to warn you, moving too fast, pushing your ex too hard, or showing too much interest in winning them back, all of these things are going to do the opposite to what you're hoping for and are only going to make matters worse. So if you do decide that you need to try to do something beyond being patient and giving your ex some time and space, be warned that it can indeed backfire and should only be done after you've applied a period of no contact. Probably the best way to reestablish communication is by setting up a hangout with a few of your mutual friends. So for example, you can plan a night out with a bunch of friends that you and your ex shared, and then, ask these mutual friends to casually invite your ex just to see how they're doing. And trust me, your ex is going to be much more likely to show up if you're with a bunch of his or her friends, because it's a lot less, threatening when you take this approach. And it's more likely to get them to actually agree to come. And another benefit to this method is that it works even if your ex has blocked your phone number and blocked you on social media. Now, once you actually see your ex at this friendly hangout, it's important that you don't try to make it a big deal, or try to get into any kind of serious discussion about the breakup or the fact that they've blocked you. Your only goal at this point is to just have fun and re-engage in casual conversation with your ex. So don't make things awkward. Don't cause any unnecessary drama. Just remember, at this point, your ex might be dreading talking to you, or at least, be feeling anxious about it. And you have to really do whatever you can to not intensify those feelings. So take things slow. Remember to be upbeat, positive and friendly. If you're feeling as if he or she is still being very awkward with you, then, take the hint and back off a bit. You don't want to make your ex feel regret for coming out. So keep things fun, keep it funny and enjoyable for your ex. And, at the end of the night, you can just tell your ex that it was nice to see them and, that they should text you sometime just as friends. That's obviously not your long-term goal. And I don't recommend being, friends with your ex if you want them back. But, you need to be subtle and non-threatening when you propose reopening the lines of communication. So Don't be pushy, don't be brash or emotional about it. Let your ex come back to you. The more aggressive you are with your ex, the more it'll reaffirm their original decision to block you in the first place. All right, I hope I've made this clear already, but before we finish, I do just want to reiterate one thing again. Please be careful not to push your ex too hard or do anything that they might interpret as you failing to respect their boundaries. Your ex has blocked you for a reason, and the last thing you want to do is display those same behaviors that led to them blocking you in the first place. So if you were needy, clingy, you wouldn't take no for an answer, maybe you spammed your ex repeatedly, well, you need to focus on doing the opposite of those things from now on, to show your ex that they don't have to worry about you making the same mistakes again in the future. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, the only person who can decide to unblock you is your ex. You can't talk them into unblocking you. And if you try, it's only going to confirm for them that they were right to block you in the first place. So respect their boundaries, take it slow, and don't make the same mistakes again. All right, that's it for this one, guys. Really sorry if you are going through this kind of situation, but hopefully this video has given you at least some reason for optimism moving forward. Thanks so much for liking, subscribing, and asking your questions in the comments below so that I can get back to you. Bye for now.